History is chronotopic. Chronos is the Greek word for time, topos, the Greek word for place. History always deals with things that existed or events that occurred on a particular particular date and in a particular place. The word chronotopic can remind you of that. Science is not concerned with the past as such. It treats of matters that can happen at any time or place. The scientist seeks laws or generalizations. Generalizations. Scientist seeks laws or generalization. He wants to find out how things happen for the most part on in every case, not as the historians does, how some particular things happen at a given time and place in the past. The title of scientific work is usually less revealing than the title of history book. The word science sometimes appears, but more often the name of the subject matter appears, such as psychology or geology or physics. Then we must know whether that subject matter belongs to the scientist, as geology clearly does, or to the philosopher, as metaphysics clearly does. The trouble comes with the cases that are not so clear, such as physics and psychology, which have been claimed at various times by both scientists and philosophers. There is even trouble. There is even trouble with very words, philosophy and science. There is even trouble with very words, philosophy and science, for they have been variously used. Aristotle called this book on physics a scientific treatise, although, according to current usage, we should regard it as philosophical. And Newton titled his great work Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, though for us it is one of the masterpieces of science. Philosophy is like science and unlike history in that it seeks general truths rather than account of particular events. Is like science, either in near or distant past. But philosopher does not ask the same questions as the scientist, nor does he employ the same kind of method to answer them. Since titles and subject matter names are not likely to help us determine whether a book is philosophical or scientific, how can we tell? There is one criteria that we think always works, although you may have to read a certain amount of books before you can apply it. If a theoretical book emphasizes things that lie outside the scope of your normal, routinely daily experience, it is scientific work. If not, it is philosophical. That is, how can we tell the difference whether the book is philosophical or scientific? There is one criteria that we think always works, although you may have to read great certain amount of the books before you can apply it, although you may have to read certain amount of the book you before you can apply this. If a theoretical book emphasizes things that lie outside scope of your normal, routine and daily experience, it is scientific work. If book emphasizes on things that lie things that lie outside scope of your normal life, routine, daily experience. It is scientific. Otherwise, if not, it is philosophical. The distinction may be surprising. Distinction may be surprising. Let us illustrate it. Remember that it applies only to books that are either science or philosophy, nor to books that are neither. Galileo's two new sciences requires you to imagine or to repeat for yourself in a laboratory, laboratory, laboratory. Certain experiments with inclined planes. Galileo's two new science requires you to imagine or repeat yourself in laboratory, laboratory. Certain experiments with inclined, repeat yourself in laboratory, certain experiments to with inclined planes. Newton's optics refers to experience in dark rooms with prisms, mirrors, and specially controlled rays of light. The special experience to which author refers may have not been obtained by him in laboratory. The fact that Darwin reported in Science of Species, he observed that the course of many years of work in the field. They are facts that can be and have been rechecked by other observers making a similar effort, but they are not facts that can be checked in terms of the ordinary daily experience of the average man. In contrast, a philosophical book reveals to no facts or observations that lie outside the experience of the appeals to no facts or observations that lie outside experience of ordinary man. A philosopher refers the reader to his own normal and common experience for the verification or support of anything writer has to say. Philosopher refers to his own experience, his own normal and common experience for the verification or support anything that the writer has to say. Thus, Locke's essay concerning human understanding is a philosophical work in psychology. Essay concerning human understanding is philosophical work in psychology, whereas the Freud's writing are scientific. Locke makes every point in terms of experience of all of us have of our own mental processes. Freud can make many of his points only by reporting what he observed under the clinical condition of the psychoanalyst's office. William James, another great psychologist, took an interesting middle course. He reports many examples of the special experience that only the careful, trained observer can know about. But he also frequently asks the reader to judge whether what is being said is not true from his own experience. Thus, James' principle of psychology is both scientific and philosophical work, although it is primarily scientific.